malfunction.
Well, it also helps if you turn off the mute too, which I just did.
Oh, whoops. Hi, everyone. We're having just a little bit of a microphone malfunction. Actually, it's the microphone stand. So if anybody bumps into the microphone, Cats or Oberon, it might fall.
Yes. Well, this is the part where we say a prayer, everyone.
Our
Help
cats
me,
are
Monster
here.
Malak Hunter, or whatever your name is. You're our only hope.
Oh my goodness, I hope I didn't break our stand. That would be my worst fear. But so far it's holding, but I can't lean it any which way. It's got to stay the way it is because there's a problem that I won't be able to solve now. Okay, Sonny, you're blocking my screen. So how's everybody doing tonight on this fine Thursday fall evening? It's about to get real here in Michigan. We're going to be getting the full color leaf show, I think, down here pretty soon in the next week or two. For sure, in our area of the state, I think it'll be in full swing.
And we're taking a trip this weekend, going out to the other side of the state, where we will probably see a lot of those colors too.
Yes. And I'm wearing, you can't see it today because of our camera angle, but I'm wearing my leaf shirt. And it's kind of nice, actually. How's that other camera? Oh, there we go. Ta-da! So my nice sparkly leaf shirt for fall. I know, but
It's your chair. It's bounding it in there, so I can't move it back anymore.
That's okay. It's not that so much. It's going to fall if we move it. So anyway, here we are, and we're getting ready for getting closer to Halloween. I hope those of you who are on Facebook and Twitter are enjoying our Halloween haiku.
Gee, is there one handy we could read?
No. But do you remember yours from the other day? The ghost one?
No. My mind is kind of fried at the moment.
It was something like, who's there? Asked the man in the graveyard. Something like that. Is anybody there, right? Is anybody there? Okay, the thing with haiku, for many of you who may not know, it's a syllable thing. It's based on syllables in its traditional form. One of the traditional forms is that it's five. The first line's 5 lines. The second line is 7 lines, and the third line is 5 lines. Or syllables, I'm sorry. 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So it's a real brevity of words, which makes it almost perfect for Twitter. I jokingly call it the tweets of poetry, the Twitter of poetry. But so basically, I think it was, is anybody there? Or is anyone there? Asked the man in the graveyard. No one but us ghosts. That was yours.
Thank you for reading that.
I closely remember, sort of, kind of, that was it. Hi, LS. How are you? Hey, Smiling Soul. Good to see you there, too.
Oh, we have company.
As I was trying to explain, we're having just a little bit of malfunction right now with our microphone. So we're hoping it doesn't knock or fall to the ground. We'll see how it goes. It's actually the microphone stand. I kind of screwed something up on it.
You read mine. I'm going to read yours. Or maybe I should read mine again just to make sure it's correct. Okay.
We are reading haiku that we posted on Twitter and Facebook.
You did have it right. Is there someone there?
Oh, that's
Asked the man in the graveyard. No one but us ghosts. That was our first one on Monday. Or no, Tuesday, because that was the first day of October.
Right. October 1st was Tuesday.
Then yesterday we had the first one from Banshee, which was, "Boo-hoo!" cried the ghost. Failing to scare anyone, he turned in his sheet. So remember, you can get more of those. They're on Twitter too, right?
Yes. Do you want to read yours for today?
I'll read mine
Number
for
2?
Today, yes.
For today.
You can get more of those on Facebook or Twitter. Where's the rest of it?
Hang on. I got you.
There it is.
Yep. So where's number 2 for you?
See, then
there
I
it is.
Scroll up and then scroll
Yeah,
back.
sorry.
Okay. Dangerous zombie at the Halloween party. People make good snacks.
People make good snacks. And tomorrow will be my shot at it. We're not always going to mirror each other like that, but we have some that are vampires and zombies and monsters, and I tried to pair them off together to go off at the same time. So his would be one day, mine would be the other day, similar themes. But we divert a bit as time goes on. And next Monday, every Monday, whoever's tweet it is, there will be one extra tweet, or whoever's haiku it is. There'll be one extra haiku that day, and that will be a collaborative haiku that we came up with together.
How exciting. And I'm glad that
Yeah.
everyone likes haikus, so thank you for your kind thoughts.
Yeah.
So let's get our show rolling. What are we going to do first?
Well, I think, first off, I think I want to draw a rune leaf.
Yes.
I think I let you draw
The
one last
rune
time,
leaf.
so I'm going to draw one today. Uh-oh, guys. Well, another one just fell to the ground, and let me see which one that is. One is more trouble to me than the other one. Why don't you hold that one up? That one is Nothiz, and that is the rune of...
It's sort of like a slanted X.
It's sort of like a slanted X with one side longer than the other. And it's basically a rune of constraint, which I find very interesting, and I'll explain in a minute. Let me tell you what the rune is about. It's about limitations. It's about balance. It's about the shadow self. It's about troubles, setbacks, and learning experiences. Reconsidering your plans, paying off debts, setting your priorities in order. Could also mean oppression, ill health, and it's a time to conserve your energy. I find that very interesting considering some of the tarot cards we've been pulling of late, don't you?
I guess so.
They've
I don't know the runes as well as you do, of course.
Well, I just mentioned it's about constraint and limitations, and what have I been saying in the last few days? The people have to set some boundaries for themselves, some limits, maybe on bad behavior, or maybe overeating, overindulging, over dramatizing even. So, it's time to rein yourself in a little bit. And I think Nothiz really kind of reinforces that thought.
Interesting.
Now, the other rune that I pulled, that little tiny one there, the leaves are all shapes and sizes. And I worked with them as best I could.
We don't have enough light here to pick up that
Oh,
shiny silver
but
there.
it is like, can
It
you
sort of looks
show
like an S, yes.
that? Yeah. Yeah, it's like that little S there that you might be able to see. There it is. And that one is called Swelu, and it's wholeness. And wholeness is a pretty good rune. It's about individuality, self-realization, expressing yourself creatively, regeneration, abundant energy, which is interesting. It's the opposite of that rune, which is telling you to conserve what energy you have, because energy might be low. So I think what it's trying to say is maybe, hopefully with the tarot for tomorrow we pull tonight, that the energy is shifting a little bit now, because we've had a few bad days of tarot pulls there, I think. Kind
They
of.
weren't the greatest,
No,
that's for
they
sure.
were not. They were not.
The runes are interesting, even when you don't know them, because they're just kind of like tarot cards, and they just have symbols, and each symbol has a meaning. To some degree, it may be a slight overlap with tarot cards, but what I find interesting about the runes is like what we have done with the Lenormand cards, which is that sometimes during a reading, that rune might add a little extra texture because they do seem to coincide to some degree.
Yes,
Thank you.
And they also could be used for magical purposes like the tarot card. If you want to do a meditation with them, things of that nature, you can do that.
Whoops.
So I do like the runes, and so it's just something I did, a couple falls. Well, it's actually been more than that. What would we say, about 5-6 years ago? I put that together for an event we were going to, and it was kind of the idea that people would draw a leaf. It was a fall event.
Was that the one at the store?
No, I think it was the one at it's COG.
Oh,
a Merry Meek celebration.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been 2011 then.
And so basically, people pick a rune out. I do things like that. I create my own oracles. So all of these interpretations that I have on these sheets are things that I pulled together with my research and my own thoughts on the runes. So that's what I go by when I'm interpreting this for us here today. And I also made something that I consider like little fortune cookie kind of fortunes, and I call them fairy fortunes, and I put them in the bowl for the spring. So I do something in the fall and I do something in the spring to carry us through the two halves of the year.
Very cool.
And these are things people can do for themselves as well. You know, it's a nice random kind of divination tool. Well, before we get started with offering readings, I thought today I'd do something a little bit different if it's okay with you, Mr. O.
Oh, you're going to ask me?
Yeah,
Ask away.
okay. I thought I would bring, since we were talking about easy does it kinds of divination methods, I thought I'd talk about something I brought up a couple times before, bibliomancy.
Oh, that's right.
I brought a few of my books down to show you a little bit of how bibliomancy works. Now, keep in mind that these particular books that I brought down, they are made for this particular form of divination. But you can do this with anything. You can do this with any book. If you were religious and Christian, you could even do it with a Bible. So,
Well, I have a question,
yes,
Banshee.
sure.
So I was just going to say, so that word bibliomancy, that sounds like Bible in a way. What is up with that?
Well, could also sound like bibliography or
But doesn't that suggest that the root word is
biblio.
biblio,
Right.
and it really means book.
Yes.
And so the Bible just means book.
Oh, really?
Well, in a way.
I guess I never thought about it that way as far as
Well,
the
I'm,
Bible
I'm,
goes.
I'm just trying to make a point that I guess it does. It's not called the Word of God or the Word of Yahweh. It's just called Bible, and so it sort of is a sloppy way
I
of
have
saying
to
that.
save the likes from the cat.
Yeah, we've been having some problems with our cats.
Oh, my
today.
goodness.
We don't want to even talk about the other one, but one of the cats who's never up here was up here just before we were finalizing the camera views, and that's why Banshee's a little bit
Yeah.
off center there because Kitty just didn't want to let us do it. In fact, when I was working with the laptop controls, she started biting my hands and thinking we were playing or something. And I'm starting like, Banshee, hurry up over here.
That's okay. I'm a little off center anyway, Mr. O. So I think anybody who knows me
From
knows
your
that.
lips to my ears.
So, like I said, you could take any book and just go to a page and ask a question in your mind and stop on a passage, blindly just put your finger on a passage and see what message it gives you. Now, I have here some books that were tailor-made for this. You might want to hold that one up. This one is kind of spiritual
Soul's Book of
answers.
Answers.
The Soul's Answers. And so basically what I would do is I would ask a question.
Ella says she's had they've had this experience.
Oh, very good. Awesome.
And that's exactly what it's like. Sometimes you just feel like you're in whatever state of mind. You don't have to be in some delta or alpha state. You just feel like, man, I need something. And you go to a book and open it and pull it, and that's what it is. And I have a great idea.
Well, wait a minute. I just wanted to respond to her because, Ellis,
Them.
this has actually been around at least since the 1800s because it used to be
Them.
a parlor game in the 1800s, correct?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's your response.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so
Sorry.
I have this idea, which is we could involve our audience that's out there in this too by saying there's X pages in here. What page should we turn to do that? Do you wanna
They're
try
not
something like that?
numbered.
Oh, okay. Well, that
They are
screws that
definitely
up.
not numbered because they want this
Oh,
to be totally
random.
random.
Totally
But
random.
we can have our audience ask a question and we'll see how the book responds to it. I'll just flip up to a page and we'll see what we get. So does anybody have a question they would like me to ask the Soul's Book of Answers?
It's almost dawn, Ellis says. The words that Ellis saw. So I'm thinking,
Oh.
This was a book about vampires, right? No, I'm just kidding. But yes, that's exactly how it works, is that basically that first impression is the one you should take to heart.
Well, LS, were you studying in the wee hours of the morning? Was it almost dawn? Was it telling you to get to sleep?
An English book. Okay.
Ah, okay.
So, how are we going to do that? Somebody
Well,
can ask a question.
I can
So,
ask a question first.
well, go ahead and show us how it's
Well,
done
let me
then.
show a couple of the other books just really quickly. That one is called The Answer, and they're more commonplace kind of yes, no, and different answers. This one is called The Oracle Book, Answer to Life's Questions.
Ooh, this looks like a moldy old tome.
Well, and sadly, I found this book is falling apart on my shelves. I'm going to have to try to fix it and mend it. But this one I like the most because it's called The Literary Book of Answers. So they use literary quotes in this book to, to refer to for your divination.
It's almost dawn. Well, maybe that's in there. I don't know.
So these are a few things that I brought down today. For my question, I'm going to ask the Oracle book if I'm going to win any money in the lottery tonight because I bought some tickets. Let's just see what it says. I dread this because it'll probably say no. Well, it says I've drawn the Devil card. They actually use tarot and other symbols in this book. And it says someone is trying to prevent it from being so.
Don't look at me. You know
It must
I
be
want
the
that
person
too.
who sold me those tickets. They kept the winner for themselves.
That I would believe. Well, can I ask a question?
You may.
Should I use that book too?
Which one would you like? Do you want the literary book
I want
of
the
answers?
answers book.
The answers? Okay.
And here's my question. Today I was talking with a trusted friend about a particular situation I'm having at work. And that friend gave me a little advice, which I'm probably not going to take because it was a little bit extreme, but I did appreciate that advice. But I'm wondering, is there going to be a solution for me with that problem?
What do you get?
Oh, I was afraid of that.
Uh-oh. What does...
All comes right to him who can wait. And that's what the problem is, of course, is that I'm waiting for something to happen, and I've been waiting a long time, like maybe years already.
Well, that's like
I guess
me
it
and...
means I'm not going to get that answer. I'm just going to have to wait.
That's like
what
me and that
means.
lottery win. Arr.
I guess so.
I have been waiting a long time. So I'm going to just generally ask the literary book of answers.
Towards the end, we'll mention where some of these books can be found, LS. Patience is a virtue, I agree.
Let's see.
What do you want to do?
Just a minute. Should I retire next year? I like that. We're really not ready
It's
for me to
gotta
retire
be.
next year. It's what I'd like it to be.
Flaked? What does flaked mean? Smiling. So does that mean that they just kind of blew you off?
Oh,
or...
they blew you off? Is that what that means?
Well, we'll have to see if we got a question or answer for you.
I am disappointed. It really did look good and positive.
Could you frame that as a question that we could ask our little
Yes,
book
she
here?
says yes. Is there something else out there for Smiling Soul since she got flaked by the PR person? Ooh, I think you have to take a chance on something, Smiling Soul. It's a Chinese proverb it gave you.
He that is afraid to shake the dice will never throw a six. So to me, that's kind of like saying you have to be willing to gamble a little bit or to take a risk of some sort. I don't know if that exactly answers the situation, but that's kind of interesting.
Well, if anybody has a question they want... Oh, let me try one with the Souls book, because we did not do that one yet, did we? Do you have one? Another
a
one?
question. Okay. My situation at work sort of ensures that someone's going to be hurt. Is that really the way I want to go with solving the problem I have? Wow, that's a wordy answer.
Uh-oh.
Do not forget to entertain strangers. For some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. And you know what's really interesting about that is I saw this meme on Facebook today where somebody was saying basically, if you think that you've seen angels, you know, with wings and very angelic looking, then you should realize that when God sends angels, he sends them to look like humans. If they look like angels, it means that you're probably a prophet, is what the meme ended up saying.
Really? Huh.
That angels that come to be in our lives to answer questions look like us. But when somebody looks like an angel and appears to you, maybe it's because there's something higher order going on.
Well, let me ask you this about that answer, because it said something about entertaining
Yeah, coincidences are crazy.
entertaining strangers.
I'm trying to keep up with the chat.
I know, so was I. And you
You weren't.
Yes, you did.
No, I said no, you weren't.
Interrupted me. So listen, I had a question though about your work situation, because you had in here that you entertain something about entertaining strangers.
No,
do you
they
have
said
to?
that, not me.
Right. So do you have to get in? Do you have to talk to somebody else in this matter?
It could be a way of looking
Somebody
at it.
outside of your work circle?
Well, I don't think there are any angels there.
Well, but the angel might be the stranger of who you will need to speak to. I think it's
Yeah.
interesting.
So I talked to the stranger who's going to come in and threaten them.
Oh no.
No, I don't know that
No.
that's. I just don't know that anybody from outside the situation can really do anything other than to maybe soothe me with some balm of some sort. So. I don't
Okay,
know.
so here's something else that I have that is similar to these, but a little bit different, and I think is a hoot, just because it's kind of corny. But actually, somebody actually came out with a book that is instant tarot. And if you want to open it up there and just show them that the pages. You gotta go, yep, there you go.
Oh, there. I sort of remember this. You can basically do them in portions.
Right, you flip to the page you want and you do a 3-card reading for
Oh, I
yourself.
see. Interesting. Very modular.
It's very modular indeed. And your interpretations are right there. It's called Instant Tarot. It's just one of those amusing little parlor games that I have of sorts. I'm just going to go randomly here and throw some pages out. And I guess you would just kind of pick which side you want to do. I would pick this side. And I got the Queen of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and Strength, past, present, and future. This is specifically for past, present, and future readings.
Tell us what it means.
Well, the Queen of Wands interpretation says, you were confident and able to take charge of things. This is in my past. Creating a powerful first impression helped you to make new friends, and your enthusiasm for life attracted people to your side. And it goes on. I'm not going to read it all because I don't want to bore everybody with this. The present, I didn't realize this. The Knight of Swords, they actually have reversals in here. The Knight of Swords is reversed. Rushing into things headlong in the present, you really don't think them through, and some of your actions will turn out to be unwise. As far as some people around you are concerned, you seem to be causing trouble, simply for the sake of it. Me? That could be me. And the future, I have Strength upright, and it says you have the ability to persevere in the face of obstacles. It will be necessary for you to confront a situation and see it through to its conclusion. You will need to guard against your anger and resist the temptation to follow your impulses. Gee, telling an Aries that? I don't know. So you see how that works? That's kind of a cool book divination method as well.
Very nice. Okay, smiling soul indicates a question, so
Okay.
we're going to let them take a moment to compose themselves. Yes, we've had a number of them on our daily tarot for tomorrow, or we've had them a couple times.
We've had a
Knight of
number of
Swords.
knights in
Just
general.
knights in
We've
general.
gotten the Knight
Knights are
of
always
Wands a lot.
various matters coming and going, coming and going. Why won't they stay? It's hard to entertain angels, but I think it's harder to entertain knights because they're always coming and going.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. Okay, so Smiling Soul, did you have a question for the tarot cards, or did you want us to use one of our books to answer your question?
So you want to know if your
Oh.
letter will be answered. And I like that. Literally sent a letter. Yeah, that sounds right. Sometimes you
Sounds
can
like a
still,
yes/no question.
you can still make an impression with some people when you send them something in the U.S. postal mail, like a birthday card or a note or letter. I try to occasionally send something in the mail once in a while. This month I'll be sending my mom and my granddaughter a Halloween card
Yes.
because I like to do things like that.
We're going to do it as a yes/no question, Smiling Soul. And today I'm using not the Grand Lux Tarot, but I'm using...
Dear.
He dropped something. It was upright, wasn't it?
It was. I dropped the Two of Cups. And so I'm going to say that this is a letter you really do want them to answer because it represents some sort of bonding or harmony or working well within a relationship. Something about a relationship that
Or
really...
partnership.
Partnership that really, works well together. So I don't know if that's who that person is to you or if that's what you're hoping to get out of that.
So this is the do you want to cut him?
Oh,
The
okay.
Ciro Marchetti Tarot of Dreams.
Ah, yes. The Two of Cups is a favorite card for some folks. I like it.
And this is a U.S. Games deck again. That's where he publishes out of.
And she's doing the yes or no spread. Got one.
Okay. We have a probability of yes. It's not definite because you have two aces, not three. And you got the Ace of Swords and the... Yes,
The Ace of Wands.
the Ace
Both
of
upright.
Wands.
And those are indicators that the answer is most likely yes, that they will answer you.
Now this one, the Seven of Swords, is reversed.
Ooh. And this letter, does this letter ask for or is hoping to somehow set something straight between you and that person? Maybe not on your side, but maybe on their side. Like you're hoping by writing this letter that maybe they're going to somehow resolve something, they're going to somehow make amends, or maybe it's you. It's possible that something needs to kind of be brought into the open and acknowledged and or resolved. That's
Yeah,
what I see.
I have to agree with that. That's like something is crying out for a resolution of some sort here.
Okay, so Smiling Soul says it's more
Okay.
about advice. Could this be telling us that advice is something that you're going to feel dual about it? Like it sort of takes away some things, but it sort of brings some things back? I don't know. What do you think? Do you know what I'm getting at there?
Not exactly.
No, I guess I don't even know what I'm talking about. I get
I'm
that
not
sometimes.
sure, but I feel that it's, you probably will get an answer, and you said this is about,
Advice for writing.
call, I missed your call, and I'm writing them again to see if he'll reach out again. Okay.
So it's really about advice, though. That's what they're hoping.
I would say that that yes. In other words, the resolution in
It's
this
a most
case,
likely yes.
might be that you are going to get the advice you seek because there is a resolution, right?
Right.
So that's how I would look at this.
Well, could it be advice that maybe was also supposed to be given to you before, but you just didn't quite get it tied down? I guess you already said that in a way that, that you called and they didn't quite connect with you, so you're hoping the letter will kind of straighten that out. So I'd say probably yes. Are you pulling a Lenormand for
I
that
am
question?
indeed pulling a Lenormand, and I'm using today the Fairy Tale Lenormand, which is by Lisa Hunt, the book is written by Arwen Lynch. But and that I think is a Llewellyn deck, if I am not mistaken. I want to give credit. Nope, it is also a U.S. Games deck. I stand corrected. I get a lot of decks from U.S. Games, but I've gotten decks from all over. I've gotten self-published decks. All right. Ooh. Well, this is kind of an interesting one, Smiling Soul. I've got the heart and I've got the snake. And I would have to say that that's not a very good combo. I'm not sure that this could indicate to me that maybe there is something faulty about the information that you're going to get. I don't know if you can necessarily rely on what you're hearing because the snake is kind of about deception and things like that.
Well, maybe.
I would say it's trust your gut on it, and see what happens.
It could be that the advice, when it comes, really makes you feel good, but yet at the same time, there might be some little disturbing element there about it. Just something that mostly good, but there's just one little thing. Maybe that's just challenging somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a negative way to end that one. And like I said, it's a maybe yes. It may not pan out in the end, even though things seem favorable right now. We'll just have to see how it goes. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. I think it's even more than a maybe yes. It's a maybe, just because of the cards that I pulled with the Lenormand as well. So I wish I had better news. Oh, wonder if that's why I got the heart and the snake because that could also be deception, in romantic encounters as well. But since your question wasn't, necessarily romance based, I didn't take it that way. Well, LS, do you have any question for us today? Or if you want to think about it a while, I could go ahead and do our weekly reading. It's my turn, after all. So yeah, I thought I'd bring the books down for bibliomancy and show them off because, this is a season that's really great for divination and self-exploration. I mean, it's great to get a reading from us, but also, it's time for you to go inward and seek answers within yourself as well. So if you have any special tools or things that you like to divine with at all, by all means, be using them during the season. This is the right time to do that.
Ellis wants to know if they can have general advice from a bibliomancy book. So, in other words, are you suggesting that we would just say what advice is Ellis looking for and then open the book and see what it says? Or do you see that a different way? I'll let you think about that for a moment.
I like what you said there.
How's that?
Well, in that she just wants general advice, we could just pull to a page and see what it says. She says, yes, that would be nice. Oh,
Wow.
that's pretty deep. I used
It's
the
general advice
Soul's
for
Book of
sure.
Answers.
Strive to make your life consistent with your proclaimed beliefs. Strive to make your life consistent with your proclaimed beliefs.
And you know what? I am going to get out the answer book for another
We don't
one.
happen to have a pen here, do we?
I normally, wait a minute, I might have one on my tablet. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, there's also an indication here with this one.
In most undertakings, problems will arise. It is worth persevering.
So in other words, I think if we're looking at this as general advice, that right now it is saying this may be a time of some trials and tribulations, and even though things may get difficult at times, it is worth seeing them through, seeing your way through the obstacles, the struggles, because in the end, something better will occur. So these kinds of books, since you're just getting little snippets of information, it leaves it to you to fill in the blanks. It kind of leaves it to you to understand where they're going with this and how this relates in your life. So I'm just going to pull one at random for myself here. Get a grip of the essential facts, it says. And actually, this quote is from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, which is very interesting to me because in a particular situation going on in my life right now, I feel I don't have all the facts, and I am a little bit worried about that. So it's basically reinforcing something that I'm already feeling, is that I need to get a grip on this and seek out the answers. Just, not let things go, but find answers for myself.
And Alice had a comment about where to find books or how to do that.
Well,
let's see if I can find that comment there.
Yeah, no, it's okay. A number of them I probably have gotten at bookstores over the years, in the metaphysical new age sections. But, I'm sure that Amazon has things like this. What I'll probably try to do is, because I'm not really sure what search terms you could use for it. Excuse me. You could try to do the term bibliomancy and see what comes up on Amazon. It's possible they might use that subject heading, but I'm not really sure. Everything is keyword. I'm a librarian, and everything is keyword searching now instead of subject headings. But I would say that I would try that term bibliomancy and see what's going on. I have to check on one of my cats a minute here.
No, that was me.
Oh, was you? Okay.
Yes, it was my foot.
Okay, good.
A lamp, the light kind of moved a little bit, and I realized me and my long legs kind of, see, there it goes again.
Oh, gosh, don't do that.
Sorry. So now would be a good time to just remind people that we have a schedule. We're here tonight from 7 to 9. And then on Sundays, we're here 2 to 4. This Sunday, however, we will be late.
Change of schedule.
Change of schedule for this Sunday. We'll be here 7 to 9.
Hi, Bridget. Welcome.
Welcome, Bridget. And that's because I have another engagement. But also, did you want to talk a little bit about Sunday's
Yes, I do. Sunday, we're celebrating a special day. The day before, Sunday's October 6th, and the day before, October 5th, is the 43rd anniversary of our first date.
Our first date was in 1976. 43 years ago.
So I'm going to be posting on Facebook and Twitter and inviting all our friends and people who know us or don't know us that well to come join us on Sunday for a toast. And we'll just share a few memories before we get into our tarot readings.
We're going to have a reenactment of the first date.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to give it away.
Well, that we already said something about it on the other show.
That is true. So that is true.
Okay, Bridget, and thank you, Alice. Good luck with your search. Bridget, did you have a question, or do you want a general reading, or what's up? And we'll give you a moment to type that in.
Yeah, we're doing free readings if you want to know. We're doing all our live streams. The readings that we do are free. They're short 3-card readings, and I throw a couple of extra cards from
Okay, go ahead and shoot with your question.
my Lenormand deck as well.
Thank you for the anniversary wishes, LS. It's been a long life.
Yeah, we'll have a little talk about that, and it's just we'll be doing this again. I unfortunately you're going to have to suffer with us one more time as we celebrate in November. Will be our 38th wedding anniversary.
Wait, I thought that was my birthday.
It is, but
Oh, it's both.
Yes.
Only we could do that. Get married on one of our birthdays.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that.
We did
38
that.
years ago.
Okay, okay, Bridget. Go ahead with your question. Just type it out.
Okay, you're the Capricorn, I assume, and you're
Okay.
asking if you will meet your husband in person this year.
Okay,
so that sounds like a yes or no, right?
It does. So
you-
why don't you start shuffling for a yes or no? I just want to check something here. That absolutely does sound like that.
And I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart, although I'm a sun sign Scorpio. I have a rising sign moon in Capricorn, or rising sign and moon in Capricorn. That's what I meant to say. Oh, so LS is a Scorpio too. How did I know that? And I have several friends who were born on the 10th, so you're in good company.
Well, we are an Aries Scorpio combo.
I was born on the 18th, and that's our anniversary. And Smiling Soul, you are welcome. I'm glad you had a chance to look that up again. We are always there to answer your questions, or at least now we are.
Okay, so Bridget,
Go ahead and shuffle.
I'm going to shuffle too. We both shuffle the cards. We're going to do a brief yes no, but I'm going to see if I can get some more information for you from Lenormand cards that I will pull as well. A couple.
I give off Capricorn vibes. How cool.
You know, the one thing that we both share is
Moon in Capricorn.
yes.
The other thing too is for those who are a little bit more versed with the astrology, I'm a sun sign Scorpio, but I have two other planets in Scorpio. I have Mercury in Scorpio, which intensifies my mental processes, because that's Mercury. And then I also have Saturn in Scorpio, which is a real lessons of time thing. But guess
Yeah.
what? Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. So
That's
I
right.
don't remember exactly, but that goes into the mix. I don't remember. I'm not the astrologer that remembers that. So it's actually kind of informs my Scorpio-ness on another level of Capricorn.
Well, thank you for that, LS. I think water in my chart is very lacking, don't you think? I have air, I have Gemini strongly, I have earth with Capricorn. I also have fire. I just don't know. What is my water? What do I have in water?
I am not recalling it offhand.
Yeah,
Because
but I have to agree with you on that because I am very empathic and that's one of my strengths. So I really don't have a clue how I ended up that way. But you know, the interesting thing about the two of us is too we are also born in the same time of the month. Like you're the 18th and I'm the 19th in my month. So I don't know if that also plays into some compatibility things between us.
well, there is something about the days of the month too on its own level. I don't recall though.
Did you cut them?
I did.
Okay, then we're ready.
I'm a little nervous because I have a kitty right here and he's right by the camera and he's just watching one of the monitors with us on it. So I hope he's just amused with that. I don't want him to knock anything over, basically. Yes, Mercury in Scorpio does add a real level of focus and/or because Scorpio itself is an intensely the kind of sign that really focuses in. They just have an intense mental thing, anyways, as part of their sign. So then you put Mercury, which rules the planetary positions of the mind or the realms of the mind, and you got a lot going on there.
We have a lot going on there. I have to tell you right now that what we're seeing, and could you want to explain how the yes no works to
Okay,
her?
Bridget,
Yep.
we do a yes or no spread. It's actually a very old uh, card reading that was taught to me in person by somebody, and then years later I started to see it in books. So I was taught it as an oral tradition, which is kind of cool. But basically, you count off cards into three piles, only stopping when you either hit an ace or you get to the 13th card without an ace. And so if you do that in one pile, then you move to the next and you do that again. And so you either wind up with one, two, three, or no aces. And each ace is more weighting towards the yes of your question. So, for example, if you had no aces, this would mean that the question looks like it's a positive no, and so on and so forth. What we have with your card is you do have one ace, so it says right now this possibility is slighter. It's not impossible that you might meet this person, but it doesn't look like it's very well favored at this moment. And then the other cards that do show up might give some information there. So one is the Five of Wands. And I'm thinking, did you want to jump in?
No, go ahead first, but I definitely have something.
And I wish Kitty would not come
We
here.
have our cats. You'll have to excuse them. Hopefully he's not giving a butt shot. Excuse.
No, he's not. It's
Okay.
the backside though. But this Five of Wands that I see here sort of indicates to me, I'm going to ask the question, are you actively dating? Are you dating several people? Are you dating more casually? Because I get the feeling with the Five of Wands, and it's several
is so
people
good.
there, that there's this idea here that there are people vying for the situation. I'm not saying it's a deadly, earnest competition, but it's kind of like there's a mix going on there of people personalities that are vying for the same thing. Is it possible that maybe there is somebody you're looking at, but you know that this person is also being sought after by others? That kind of thing is the vibe I'm picking up.
Okay.
Did you want to weigh in on that one?
I certainly would, but I might get a little ahead of you on this. I
That's
have
fine.
to ask, Bridget, have you recently broken up with anybody or been in some kind of a relationship of some sort? Or, because I sense there's a healing process going on. We have another card here. Did you show that one?
No, I didn't
The
even mention it.
Nine of Swords reversed. And it indicates somebody maybe who's been going through some healing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, so perhaps you're missing him. And that's possibly why this card came up.
Interesting.
It seems as though there's some struggles or competition right now. This card can be one of arguments or just a little bit of competition. And that's why. Go ahead.
Okay, so it sounds like you're still married, but you're separated, or you're not together at this point. So is the basic question basically whether you're getting back with them?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a complicated yes or no, yes no question.
Ah, so basically you just want to know if you are really connecting with your husband this year, and it looks like not necessarily, or the chances are slighter. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's only a little possible, but not majorly. And this card would, to me, seems to express the idea that there's some emotional turmoil right now for you, and some trying to heal or to be at peace with the situation.
You know, this also could indicate, I don't know if it's a job or something
Is
that's
he in the
keeping.
service?
Is he in the service, or that's a very good point, or in a job that's keeping him, a distance away.
Well, I don't know if that card's about him, but I'm wondering if it's that energy, though, that he's involved with some situation where maybe he's the one who's in competition, moving around, and it sounds like, he's in the service, or he's in some sort of outfit, or he's in not a military necessarily, but he's in some situation where it's a job. I don't know. I'm not really sure. What do you got there?
Well, I've got the Lenormand cards, and I'd like to show those. So when I drew the Lenormand, I got the fish and I got the heart. And I would say that that combination is really good for there being an abundance of love and bond felt here. So that's a very positive sign to me as far as, furthering the relationship goes. I don't know that it necessarily indicates that he's returning.
What does the fish mean?
The fish is abundance, and oftentimes it indicates flow of resources. But it also can mean, it depends on the cards it's with. And it's with the heart card. And the heart card to me indicates, an abundance of love and passion.
Now, I don't read Lenormand, but I go with the images I get. And this fish tells me that there's like some sort of journey or flow, as you said, and I'm thinking like, for some reason, I think the flow is coming towards you, but it's from a long ways away, as you said, and so it's going to take time. And I just think that it's a matter of a certain amount of patience is involved here. Now, that is interesting that you're both Capricorn. When I think of two signs that could actually be in a stable relationship together or any kind of relationship together, Capricorn kind of flies to the top of that list, mostly because Capricorns tend to be very practical about things. And also, I think Capricorns are very patient. I was going to say this a few moments ago to LS when we were talking about Capricorns. I have a friend who's a semi-astrologer, and she says Scorpios are impatient Capricorns, and Capricorns are patient Scorpios. And of course, that sort of has a little bit of an undercurrent there. But I'll just leave it that way.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to try this because I am concerned about the situation a little bit, Bridget. And so what I was thinking here, let me just take a look at something. I just would like to draw a few more cards for her, I think.
Yes, we hope that a reunification will happen too for you. Yeah, I guess I am actually both. So I can be my own patient and impatient Capricorn and Scorpio. But you know what, Ellis? You've hit on something which is a lot of people throughout my life. They never peg me as a Scorpio. They always see me as not being a Scorpio.
Shuffle. And just keep an open mind about this. I think I'm just going to draw a few more cards because I want to see for you, Bridget, what 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and 1 year from now might be bringing for you. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Banshee's month projection over several months.
Well, yeah, it's a 3, 6, and 1 year, so it's basically a 1 year. The first card is for 3 months. And it seems like things are not going to be happening in the next 3 months. The Fool reversed is kind of like missteps and steps backwards even, I think. So not happening in these 3 months.
I also feel like it's about some indecision too. Like maybe some things might pop up, but you're not going to be inclined to want to go with them. You're going to sort of hold back from making that decision. And I don't know what that is, if it's an offer of some sort that might speed things up or give you some other, glance. What's this for?
That's 6 months from now.
So for 6 months, we have the reversed Page of Coins.
Yes.
And what do you say about that?
Well, the reversed Page of Coins could be some financial issues that need to be ironed out. And you might be getting some messages, 6 months from now that is, that things are tied up maybe because of some financial situation.
And I would ask too, is either you or your husband a student? Are either of you studying? Because I get the feeling too, like maybe
Yes.
there's a sense of studies being put on hold, or some sort of delay with that process.
Coins, coins are, of course, Earth card.
Hmm.
And then I've got the Ace of Wands reversed. So that means fall starts, and that's 1 year from now. I I'm really beginning to think it's going to take a little longer than a year, for this to play out, Bridget. I wish I had better news right now. And remember, the tarot is only a snapshot in time. Circumstances in life change. And so, therefore, if you do a reading 3 months from now on this same question, we might get different results for you.
So, and I didn't add my interpretation here, and I guess you're saying that yes, he is a student or he isn't studying.
Okay.
So that's cool. I'm wondering if maybe that's part of what the situation is that it's just not really easy to get back when you're involved in studying in a foreign country. The other thing is that for the 1 year from now with the Ace of Wands reversed, I sort of see that too. I sort of see there's a delay there, or that what seems to be a new beginning is just tempered a little bit by some slight dissatisfactions with a few things. That could be that there's some sense of what is the projects you want to work on. They sort of feel like you've lost that momentum somehow too, and you're
Yeah.
not wanting to be very forward with that, or you're not pressing it as forward.
It is possible that maybe education wise things aren't going exactly as planned, and either, there's going to be more classwork involved, some type of work involved that may be delaying him from getting back sooner.
Right, a makeup of some sort, or not having enough credits to finally move ahead into the next strata or whatever that is.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So it's going to take time, but hang in there.
And
Because, like I
yes,
said,
you could come back in a week or a month and ask a question, and we might have a totally different answer for you. So do feel free to come back, if only just to tell us how things are going.
absolutely. And feel free to subscribe to our live stream. We do come on Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and generally on Sundays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except one Sunday a month, which will vary because one of us works on Sundays.
Has another obligation.
And so next Sunday, we'll be coming to you live from 7 to 9 p.m. with our special broadcast.
Yes, our special broadcast. That's right. So let's move ahead with your weekly reading.
Yes, I think it's time to get the weekly reading in.
All right. Welcome back
good.
home. Good for you. Got
Yep,
home safe.
welcome back home, and thanks for joining us on the road. That's really nice of you to do that, Smiling Soul.
You're welcome too, Bridget.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
Bridget. And if you want to stick with us, we've got more things going on.
We're doing a weekly reading now. This is for our entire audience. It's a weekly reading that Banshee does on Thursdays. It's 4 cards, and it covers 4 different areas of your life. So we hope that our viewing audience gets a little bit out of that.
And on Sunday, Oberon does his reading.
And there are 2 different readings. And just for your information, Bridget, we are old, long-time tarot readers. We've been reading together
I am
over
not that
85
old.
years.
You said 88.
I said over 85.
Oh, okay. You're hedging.
I'm rounding a little bit, yes.
Oh, you didn't? Did you shuffle?
No, I didn't.
Do.
Do.
You must shuffle. We're working as a team. It's rare that 2 tarot readers read together. We like to give different perspectives. Oftentimes we agree right off the bat, but sometimes we each give different perspectives on the cards that might be useful.
LS, if you're still around, my mom is also a Scorpio, and her birthday this year is a couple days after mine. She's winging in just before Sagittarius, November 21st, and she will be 85 85. She'll be 85, yeah. Oh my God.
Wow, now I
Talk about
forgot what I
85.
was saying.
Oh, you didn't get a notification? Okay, we've talked about that before too.
I wonder why it didn't happen this time. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm
Where are you
just
going?
I'm not going anywhere. I think I need to write something too, though. So I needed a pen.
Yes, so I'm going to go visit my mom this weekend. She's about 3 to 4 hours away, so it's not a super long trip, but with my occasional weekend skills, because I work about 2 weekends a month, either a Saturday or a Sunday, it does make it a little hard to get out there and visit her. And my sister lives there, my niece is out there, so mom's doing pretty good. She has some health news, but it actually seems to be okay for now, and we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna go visit her again in November on her birthday. What's that for?
That is for the physical, spiritual, and mental well being for the week ahead. And I've drawn the King of Cups reversed, which to me, the King of Cups is kind of out of the kings. He is the more, I don't know, he's not one to take responsibility. He's one to enjoy the realm of power and the good things it brings him, the good times, etc., rather than doing his kingly work. And when he's reversed, I kind of think he really is a little bit out of control there with his emotions and the way he wishes to the things he does in his life. He overindulges. Maybe he's a little bit oversexed. So we have to be a little bit careful again. There's that vibration again of we have to really kind of look at our behaviors and kind of rein ourselves in a little bit. Maybe we've been letting some things go. I know I've been feeling that, and I certainly hope I am not imbuing that in the cards today.
Thank you, Ellis. So what was that position?
The spiritual, physical, mental well being for the week ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, I can't disagree with what you said. I mean, I'm not sure what else I would add to that. Go ahead. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Okay, and the second card is relating to career and educational concerns and finances. My goodness, am I just going to get reversals? You would think this deck was in order. Well, the Nine of Cups is reversed, which means in our business and financial aspects right now, we're not getting exactly what we feel we deserve. I think that we're disappointed with, not enough financial gain, not enough recognition at work, things of that nature. Maybe educationally as well. You wrote this great paper and you don't feel like it's been judged fairly.
You said this was more about the workplace?
Educational, work, and finances.
And so I sort of feel that maybe what this is saying is that sometimes we're having a little bit of a conversation with ourselves about whether or not we think we are advancing and we are getting enough out of our work experience or out of our education experience.
Okay,
so maybe reviewing that too. In addition to what you said.
An awesome addition to that interpretation. Very good. And the third card is about our relationships, our interpersonal relationships, whether we are, whether it's work relationships, friends, family, love. And there it is again. Grrr. It's another reversal. That is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And we almost feel like, maybe this is like dealing with people who have long-term relationships going on right now, or maybe relationships they've invested a lot of time and energy in. And you're just getting the feeling that, I hope I didn't waste my time sort of thing. That's at least what I'm picking up from looking at that.
Well, and just thinking about our reading for Bridget a few minutes back, I'm wondering too if this card is saying that more work needs to go into it on somebody's part, that it does take two, and that you you can't let the status quo just remain, and this is for everybody too, besides Bridget, but just the idea that
Yes,
within the
absolutely.
relationship spheres, we have to do something sometimes. We can't just sit and watch and say, "Oh, isn't that nice?" We gotta do some work. We have homework
That's
to do.
true.
We have other work to do.
That is the other aspect of this card, that it is saying, maybe if you're dissatisfied, you have to look within too. It takes two to tango, or, whether it's with coworkers or whatever. Try not to be part of the problem, try to be part of the solution. What can you do to also help make things better? And of course, I'm not saying give of yourself till it hurts. There should be reciprocity, but look into yourself too and see what you could do to make things better. And the focus for the week, considering all of this not so happy cards,
Yay! We got an upright card. The Page of Swords.
and yay, it's really not all that. Which is kind of sad. So, our best card of the week is the focus for the week, and that is that you really need to focus on diplomacy in a way. You need to focus on maintaining kind of a balance and a harmony between different aspects of self, and also determining, maybe taking a step back a little bit and determining what is the proper course of action to take.
And for the next week ahead, I think that this card means the focus should also be about the dance of your life. That to some degree, I find that the Page of Swords is a great proxy for ballet and dancers, or people who have a movement and a rhythm in their life, and they know how to just glide and move through their challenges. And so this could be saying too is that with the challenges you may face in the next week, try to be lithe and nimble and just sort of dance your way through them, dance your way around them.
Indeed. So that's my 4 card reading for the week. I wish it was better news.
Well, it's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst. And, it is. It's funny because it has been kind of a struggling week for me, and our cards have been picking that up a bit, that, some people are struggling with things right now. And, we just have to realize this too shall pass. Let it go, let the flow with the universal energies and get through this, and move forward. The tide will turn. It's kind of like the wheel of fortune, in the tarot. The wheel's sometimes up and the wheel's sometimes down, and it's sometimes kind of in between, leaving you not sure which way to go.
Indeed. And you know what? I think since we're in between things, I want to go back to something Ellis was saying about everyone in their family having a lot of Scorpio in their charts. And can you tell me, like, how many others are Scorpio, or what else is going on? The wheel will never stop. You're right about that. Because also, since you're indicating that you're aware there's Scorpio placements, so someone has done some astrology for your family. Is that you by chance, or were you just able to find out this information, or somebody else find out that information?
Oh, she's the only Scorpio sun.
Because,
Okay.
of course, if you go back 9 months before Scorpio, you're generally talking about somewhere in Aquarius territory as when a conception happened. But for the others who just have Scorpio on their charts, then that's not necessarily the key factor. But I'm curious, like, could you give me an example of some of the other folks and what kind of Scorpio placements they have in their charts? I don't know that it's totally unusual, but I do know that there are some families where they have 2 or sometimes 3 children who are born on the exact same day,
Yeah, we
only
have some
1 or more
crazy
years apart.
synchronicities with that, don't we? My son was born on my brother's birthday, my late brother's
But
birthday.
that's not all, Banshee,
No,
because it's also
that's right.
my mother's birthday. My maternal grandmother was also born on the day that her brother and our son share. But that's not all, is it?
For that day?
For that day.
Okay, go on.
because there's apparently a hoary old great grandfather of mine who came over from France or Belgium somewhere in the late 1880s. And I saw the Ellis Island transcripts that he signed, and his birth date is also the same
Oh
as
my
our
gosh.
son, your brother,
Yep.
and my maternal grandmother. So that's kind of,
So, Smiling Soul, in relation to cusps, I only know a little bit about cusp energy because I am a cusp. So, myself, I was born on the cusp of Aries and Taurus, and I was literally born 1 hour before the sun went into Taurus that year. It does blend energies a little bit. I definitely feel that earth element in me to some extent. But because I love my possessions, and isn't that a hallmark of Scorpios? Or I'm sorry, Tauruses? Tauruses? And so I would say it depends if you're really close. I really think it matters more the closer you are to where the sun actually goes into the sign that's next to you.
well, I think that without actually having a chart done and a good chart, there's some generalities that generally hold true, but I think that, like we're discussing with Ellis about placements in the chart, those placements in the chart could aid, enhance, or detract from some of the cusp energies as well. So there's just various examples. Perhaps if you tweet us on the side or contact us on the side with your astro information, I'd be happy to run up a little chart and forward that to you. It might take me several days to get that done, but I would be happy to do that for you because I do think that some of that information is really good. I did a chart recently, just a new chart, and I hadn't done my chart in a while, and I was really impressed with what I saw because it seems like every good chart I get, I still find something new that maybe I knew deep inside but wasn't expressed in a previous chart. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's really something. So get us that information. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
Ellis brings up an interesting point, which is that you're not sure or you don't believe in cusp because every sign has 30 degrees, and that is true. I'm not sure how I would deal with that, but I do think that it's kind of like that whole thing about the age of Aquarius taking over from the age of Pisces. And when we're talking astrological ages, they're much more vast. They're 2,000 years. So there's definitely an overlap between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius. Most astrologers think we have started the age of Aquarius, but nobody knows exactly for sure when they feel that is. It's just one of those flaky things about astrology that everybody's got their own opinion. It's not that they don't know, they just have their own opinion. It's almost terrifying. I've heard of that where people only have planets in 2 signs, 3 signs, or the signs are all below or above the horizon. And those things do make some sort of difference in astrology. I'm not versed well enough to actually know that, but I could probably consult with somebody.
So, what do you want to do now? More readings, or
We
do
could
we
do more
want to?
readings. I didn't know if there was any more. Oh, the 13th sign? Well, if you're talking about the
Oh,
13th sign,
the
there's also,
13th sign.
by some people, a 14th sign. Chew on that for a little bit. There was an astrology book that came out somewhere in the 70s called Astrology 14, and it suggested that the constellation actually does have 2 other signs that are always being disregarded. One of those is Cetus the whale, and the other one was Ophiuchus the serpent slayer. And I believe Ophiuchus comes in more around the time of the Scorpio. So these 2 things moving in there, according to this theory, radically changes a lot of people's signs. But somehow I still ended up being a Scorpio. I love that.
Sigh. Yeah, sometimes dealing with Scorpio energy is a challenge for an Aries, but we do all right.
A challenge? No, it's more like
Sure.
life survival tips.
Aries knows how to survive. Trust me.
Well,
Well, you should know
we both have Mars as a ruling planet,
that.
so
Yeah.
put up your dukes.
Ah. Oh, now.
Mars on Mars, that sounds like some bad racy novel. We have bad racy novels at my public library. We
Oh,
call them
geez.
urban fiction collection.
Oh, dear.
What you doing, Banshee?
I don't know. I was just playing with my Lenormand while we were
Well,
doing. I just threw them into three piles. There's a reading sometimes that I do that as 9 cards, and you just throw them up.
I think the basic reason why we don't have astrology with 13 or more signs is just because at this point there would just be too many people that would just turn off to it because we've just trained generations of people to look at it a certain way. And I think that's kind of the way it is with a lot of things in our culture. The colloquialisms and things don't change really quickly until there is some major shift in the paradigm. And what do you got there?
Well, I've got 3 cards on top: the birds, the gentleman, and the lady. That is us.
Oh,
That is us, and we are getting news, or we are disseminating news, because in a way, from some of the interpretations I've seen about the birds card in the Lenormand, that could also indicate social media.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Who knew?
So it's interesting that the two of us are there, and we're on social media right now.
Well, all we get are questions about romances pretty much.
Yeah, we do.
Do you mean specific readings that are tailored to have the emphasis on relationships and those kind of circumstances? Yes, you actually have developed some.
I have developed some. Right now, though, live, we're only doing short readings. So when we do set up to do, oh, there goes that light again.
That's me.
When we do set up to do paid readings, there are longer readings that I can do that really analyzes relationships. But I do have a number of short readings that are helpful with relationships that I could do, free online.
I think to answer the basic questions that we're seeing there between Smiling Soul and Ellis, it would be wise to say that although, like tarot cards, there's a pattern to astrology, things are in a pattern and things are notated because of their proximity in the pattern, that it is still an interpretive art. And that we may say, oh, well, moon in this sign crossing or squaring Saturn in that sign means blah, blah, blah. But most astrologers I know, I feel that the chart was really a vehicle for their intuition too. Like we read the cards, we see a pattern, and it gives us some intuitive thoughts. We rely on the pattern to give us some structure there, but the intuition is coming from how we relate to those images and what they are sparking up in us. So too, to some degree, it is that way with astrologers. And I've known a number of astrologers, and I would have to say most of them I found were craft persons with their astrology, but highly intuitive as well.
Yeah. I was just going to say, though, that as far as my style goes with reading the cards, I think that, I have spent years reading lots of tarot books, lots of divination books, as well as doing the practice. I mean, I feel that learning is involved in some of it, as well as intuition, as well as just what you pick up from the images. And also, the more you read the cards, the more the images speak to you and tell you different things. And as a matter of fact, if you use a diversity of decks like I do, and you do with different tarot decks, you pick up different things from all the different tarot decks that you use. So it only helps to fire that imagination and that intuition within to give a good reading. I think it's everything, really. I don't think you've read as many tarot books cover to cover that I have, but
No, I haven't.
yeah. So and to be honest with you, I mean, let's face it. There's 78 cards. My brain cells can only handle so much, you know. So I am not going to be memorizing everything I read in a book. But you pick up things over the years, and you pick up different cues, and some of them come back to you at different times and for a reason, because your intuition is telling you to say that. So yeah, there's a lot involved in how we read the cards.
I'm just answering somebody.
Okay.
Keep going.
So I was doing this Lenormand reading just for myself here that I threw. And right now, okay, so this was just about me right now. And I guess it pointed to me and Oberon doing the live stream. And in the middle is about, they call it the house, but I think it's basically where you're at right now with things. So where things are heading, but what's around you right now. And I have the bear, the fox, and the fish. All animals, for one thing. And the fish we saw made an appearance earlier, and it tends to be a flow or an abundance of things. The fox is interesting because it's about work. It can be about creativity and being crafty, sly with how you do things. It's not always a bad card. And because it's surrounded by good cards here, I think it is a good card. And it's indicating with the bear is about self-empowerment. And I think what it's telling me is that we get a lot of self-empowerment from doing this work with the live stream. And we have an abundance of creativity that we're putting forth here.
I don't know. When I look at this card, I think it's just about right, like Goldilocks would say.
Well, some people, Smiling Soul, are visual people. Some people are, more into words. Some people learn, we all learn differently. So maybe you need a deck that has some interpretive or keywords on them to help inspire you. Or maybe you don't need any words at all because they throw you off and you can pick up things just from the pictures, what they're trying to tell you. I know you're very good at, through our conversations, dream interpretation. So, it seems to me that you're able to look at those images and infer meanings from them in your life. It should be that way with the cards and images, too.
In our business, where we do associate with a number of people who practice various divinatory arts or various other possibly esoteric arts, that we do find sometimes that some people really do gravitate more towards one or two things and eschew some other things. So it's not necessarily a fault. It's just saying they haven't spoke to you, and that you probably would be looking for something that speaks more to what your abilities are or what your feelings are.
And my final three cards here are the heart, the letter, and an ending, the cross. And the cross is really kind of an ending or a very somber card, like something is final. And
why is she dancing then?
She's dancing on a grave.
Oh, I can relate to that.
I don't know. It's a fairy tale. Which fairy tale is that? Do you know?
Well,
I would have to look it up to find out.
I have no idea.
I wonder which one it is because I've been trying to figure that one out myself. But just looking at the images here, I determined that it means something that I'm very passionate about or that I really care about is coming to an end, and I'm going to get news about that. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm not happy hearing that. So let me take a look here. I want to look at that one card and see if it tells me the tale of the red shoes. A young girl chooses pretty red shoes over helping her dying foster mother. Oh boy, that sounds like trouble.
Sounds like a soap opera.
She is cursed not only to wear the shoes forever, but to dance without stopping. Wow.
Smiling Soul says, corpse bride, maybe.
That's a good one. And
cute. That's cute, Smiling Soul.
And Smiling Soul, when I do that little exercise with the question deck, which if we have a few minutes here, maybe we can pull a card from the question deck to demonstrate that again. That's exactly what I'm after here, is basically we pull a random question, and then we see if a random tarot card how that tarot card will answer the question. And depending on who you talk to, it could have many answers. And it also depends on, people's knowledge of the cards, or just looking at the image and determining how would I answer that question with what I see on that card. That's why I like to do that exercise, and why I've been throwing some of them on Facebook and Twitter. I'm hoping eventually some of the people out there will respond with their own ideas of what they think the cards may mean. There are no stupid answers here. It's just a fun exercise. So yeah, I do have my question deck right here. Do we want to do that?
Sure.
That's one dark fairy tale. Yeah, you bet it is, LS.
So while you're
some
getting
fairy
that
tales
ready,
are very dark.
we're going to show a little promo here. This is our Halloween haiku that we mentioned earlier in the show. We're doing a different one every day, plus a couple days we'll have more than one, two maybe.
Halloween, you get 3.
Yes, on Halloween itself you will get 3. And you can find those on our Facebook page, which is, go to Facebook, TFT, Tarot for Today, or also on our Twitter, which
is at TFT Tarot number 4, the 4 today. And so now I'm just making a pool of my tarot cards.
There's a question.
Oh. What about Cinderella, the true story with her mother? Yeah. We're hot coals until, yes. Fairy tales are, they actually, I don't know if they were meant for children. They were probably meant more to keep children in line, don't you think? With some of their very scary undertones.
A little bit, but it was also about some other, possible things going on too, that may have been just about societal impressions, good behavior, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have a very general question here that just came up in my question deck.
Nature reveals.
Nature reveals. What does nature reveal to us? I have drawn the Hermit reversed. I have the perfect answer for this, I feel.
Go for it.
Do you want to go first?
No, you.
Okay. I say nature reveals to us that there's so little that we truly know, that we have so much more to learn about her. I like to call nature her. After all, it is Mother Nature.
Well, to me, the Hermit reversed, I guess it could be saying that. I guess it could also be saying that what nature reveals is the sense of truths that are guarded and are only there when somebody is really ready to learn that truth.
Oh. Okay. See, there are no wrong answers here. And maybe nature reveals too that you should come out of your cave and enjoy the world.
Nah.
I think so. So in other words, get out of the cave, go out and explore the beauties and wonders of nature.
Nature reveals that truth can also be found externally and not strictly internally.
Beautiful.
Well, definitely, and that's beautiful. That is a
well
beautiful
said.
thought.
You've got it. You've got the idea here, LS.
That is well said, yeah. I like that.
Uh-oh.
Another one? WWGD. What would God or Goddess do? What would Goddess
So
do?
play off of what would Jesus do? I have a few like that. I think I have one in there. What would Banshee do? I can't wait for that one to come up. Well, I think sometimes God and Goddess likes to shake things up a little bit, cause a little bit of confusion, and maybe leave us wondering, maybe leaving us to think how vulnerable sometimes we are.
This is the reverse Two of Swords. And maybe what Goddess would do would be say, no, sometimes you just gotta strike out on your own, and I don't care if you don't know which way to go. You're just gonna have to break a few eggs here. I just really want you to go
Move.
forward. And in some communities, they say that the gods or the goddess or God never gives us a burden harder than we can bear. And the idea is that sometimes we are meant to learn by trial and tribulation.
One more?
One more.
I'll let you pull the card this time. Oh boy, my favorite topic. Change. What is change like? Well,
Change is like.
Oh, is it?
Change is like good luck. Change is like getting your wish. Whose wish wouldn't change a lot of things?
Well, change is like opening to some great things. Change is like opening yourself up to things that, realizing your dreams.
Change is like a bounty that you weren't expecting and is magnificent.
Sometimes change can be too much. Wait a minute, this is not reversed. But sometimes, even with this card, this is such a card that is
Thank you,
focused
Smiling Soul.
focused on pleasure and well-being, because when is too much, when is it too much of a good thing? So sometimes change can be too much.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Alrighty. Well, before we conclude, we're in our final half hour. So maybe towards the end there, we will do the Tarot for Tomorrow poll, which we'll put on Twitter and Facebook later tonight. But if anybody has any other questions or things to share, now might be a good time to go ahead and ask. We're up for doing maybe a few more short readings before we get done here.
So if there's anybody else in the chat as well that wants to say hi or watching the live stream that has a question, we'll be happy to field that as well. Or if you are still here, welcome. And we hope you're enjoying the live stream today.
Yes, we hit our stride. It did seem like it was a little bit slow in the beginning, mostly because we kind of went blind a little bit. We didn't have the camera angles exactly like we normally would like.
And then we had some little cat travails. Literally, he was trying to set up and one of the cats would not leave him alone so he could do it. Was just in a very playful mood. And so that was a little bit problematic. But... Oh, the film is skipping a lot? Oh. I don't know what could be causing that. We'll have to watch the video and see how that turns out. We've been having just a little bit of some issues lately. I'm speculating that I may need to do an upgrade on either my OS software or it's possible even my Safari. So maybe things are skipping a little bit.
Our producer mentioned the possibility that some of our problems might have been YouTube based, not our own. He knows a lot more about that than we do, so we figured if he suggested that, it may be true.
Well, I don't know, because now it's happening a second time. I think YouTube, would resolve their problems more quickly. So I think that we have to look into some things on our end. It may very well be that our Safari is now out of date, and so things aren't running as smoothly as they should. So we'll have to check into that.
One of the things we could do is probably just move over to a different browser, like Chrome maybe, or we do have to do software updates. Some of that might take care of some of this.
Yeah, it's possible it's YouTube, I would say LS, but I'm just not ruling out some other things too. I'm a little bit hesitant always to upgrade my software, my OS, because I'm not sure how it's going to affect my existing software on the computer, but I think it's time, and I'm just going to have to take that chance and do it. I don't know if we'll be able to get it done by Sunday's live stream, but definitely, possibly by next Thursday, I should have it done, if not sooner. If we weren't taking this trip this weekend, I might be able to do it, but I think I'm going to be just a little too busy.
So I'm going to do a short reading for myself, and this will be about what I talked about earlier, which was there's a sort of a little situation at work. And before I just asked if this information was going to be good or if it was going to help me and stuff like that. But now I'm going to take a little step further for this reading, and I'm going to ask if there is any other thing I should be doing and what that would be within the situation. I think the last card was just sort of like, or it was the bibliomancy, was just sort of like, you just need to be patient.
Well,
Entertain those strange angels.
see, I didn't think a Scorpio had as much problem with patience as an Aries does.
I'm pretty patient, actually, and you ought to know that.
I know. So that's what I'm saying is I'm the one who's always antsy.
So my first card, and this is going to be an abbreviated Celtic cross, and I'm just going to kind of intuit along the lines of a Celtic cross, but I'm going to shorten it a little bit so it won't be quite that long. The first card covering me is the Two of Swords reversed, and this was a card that came up with a different deck for LS or Smiling Soul or one of you guys. Sure, yes, you can ask that question. This will only be a few minutes. To me, what this card is saying is, right now what it's telling me is I just sort of have to move beyond this in a way, and that I may not be entitled or able to tell what's really going on. I do sort of feel there's some machinations going on at work. It's not really about me so much as just the total work environment is affected by this.
Proceed.
The next card is the reverse Sun. Well, it's not reversed because it actually is crossing the first card. It's my abbreviated Celtic cross. So it's read as an upright, and the Sun seems to say that with more information and with the general light shining, some of this may be able to be borne or handled in a different way.
You are right, LS.
The card above me is Temperance reversed, and that also seems to indicate that at the end of this, I just probably don't really have that patience necessary, or that I'm just having a hard time balancing those elements and those things there.
I would say it's your emotions.
Immoderate.
You need to
Immoderate.
temperate them.
Yes. Beneath me, the root of the matter, as always, the Wheel of Fortune. And to me, that says that basically I always expect things to be on a high cycle, and maybe I'm just not used to the cycle reversing on me. And so I need to understand that. The next card is the Four of Swords, my recent past. And this would suggest that maybe I had decided that I was just lying in the background too much, and that now is the time to revive or that I'm moving away from that idea that I've just been letting it happen and I've been resting from it. And that's true that I go back and forth with it, but for some time now I've just been sort of letting it slide, just letting it slide. My final result, though, the things that might happen mostly in the near future, is the World. Now that's kind of an interesting card coming from these other ones. But this card would seem to indicate that maybe the solutions will happen and that I will be very pleased with them. I don't know what the timeline would be, but I would say that to me, this is probably less than 6 months.
Yes, he does have a number of swords. And, well, how many swords do you have in the reading?
Oh, I only have 2.
Actually, there's 2.
But I have 3
major arcana. He has 4 major
arcana. Which says strong forces in my life. And I'm thinking like, oh, maybe HR is finally going to get involved. Yeah, there's a lot of swords Okay, so let's move on now and let's do the yes or
Oh,
no.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh,
I
you
drew
you
you
did
a.
that for me?
Well,
You did
see,
that
I
for
stayed
me?
out. I stayed out
You
of
did
his
that
reading.
for
I let him read
me?
his own situation,
What you got?
except for temperance. There, I chimed in on.
The lady. That's the
Some.
problem. There's too many ladies there.
Oh, excuse me.
I am the only guy in my department.
I don't think though that should be a problem necessarily.
You know what's been going on. It's not a man doing it.
Well, what does that tell you? Because I know exactly what that tells me.
What does it tell you, Banshee?
Well, the moon, okay, depending on what Lenormand system, you've been reading, the moon often indicates work, the workplace, not always, but often. And you have the lady. And so I think one key woman is going to be instrumental in your work success, in
I
the
need a
outcome
dartboard
here.
with all their faces.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
it's that
man.
one.
You better hope they never watch this live stream.
That was just to help me select. Honest.
Now, now I did in vague terms talk about my own retirement, but you'll see I'll never quite get into work issues the way he does.
I've been lying. It's really not about my workplace at all. No, 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 no.
So, at any rate, well, now that we have him on record,
Okay, Smiling Soul. I wanted to know if I will be getting word back from them or are they just like what I said and they're leaving it at that. What's the rest of that question?
oh wait, let's see. I'll be getting word. Oh wait, there.
Give
Sent
them-
another letter giving them a pep talk and some advice. Okay, their life again. So you want to know if they will be getting word back, if you will be getting word back from them, and they're leaving it at that. Okay.
You know, Ellis, that last thought of yours rings more true than not because it just seems like there's only one woman in particular and she can do no wrong and she's the least experienced. She's just the battle axe that has come our way. The other persons, in my opinion, are all there and have worthy experience and we're all being marginalized for this person who does not have the experience we have.
Yes, that is a very valid interpretation of those cards as well. Because it is a card of success. And like I said, I think I've seen where the moon, the fox, and there's one other card that is not coming to my mind at the moment. 3 cards that could indicate the workplace in Lenormand. Those 2 are the ones that I use the most. So, and I kind of am interchangeable about them. The fox to me often indicates maybe employees in the workplace, and the moon is more about the workplace success or just the workplace in general, a good working environment, as opposed to the fox, which I think is more about the people you work with. Or yourself in the workplace, you as an employee even. It all depends too on what cards they're paired with.
Okay, I'm trying to focus a little bit because I'm a little out of focus here.
Yeah, I'm going to try to focus on Smiling Soul now.
Me too. Are we doing them separately? Oh, you're doing that one.
Yeah. Oh, did you want me to shuffle? I should shuffle. You're right.
Will Smiling Soul get word back?
Are you doing this as a yes, no?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what was asked. Mm-hmm.
I'll cut them. Okay. Are you ready?
Maybe.
More technical difficulties? Oh, the fish. Yeah, I always think of the fish more in terms of financial matters and the flow of resources and things. But yeah, I could almost see that too.
Okay, so Smiling Soul, you're wondering if you're going to hear back from them about this question you had. Um, the pep talk and all that. My other monitor blew out on me, so I can't quite read it. But I'm thinking that the answer is mostly yes,
But
but
yeah.
it's more likely yes. I won't say mostly yes. It's more likely yes. But you have this annoying little Ten of Swords, and my distinct vibration on that card is sort of indicating that there is somebody who is adversarial in this process.
You said you were giving them a pep talk, am I right? So I don't know if the pep talk is working with this card, because the Ten of Swords just seems like they feel. Was this somebody who feels real beaten down by something, or oppressed in some way?
Yeah, they're. You were saying they had a
Oh,
kind of negativity in their life, and this is really
a negative card.
this is really a negative card. So this card's saying you're going to hear back from them, but probably what it is they feel they have some insurmountable odds, or they have some personal enemy or some personal bad mojo going on right now.
At least that's how they're feeling. Whether it is the truth of the matter or not is another thing. But
So
they feel as though they've been really either taken advantage of,
they feel
it
defeated.
literally is like a stab in the
They
back.
feel defeated.
I mean, you can look at it that way, not as a physical stab in the back, but you know what I mean. The kind of thing where people feel like they've been harmed by someone emotionally.
We'll try to be there for them,
Yeah.
and the Lenormand might give us a clue too. But you are going to probably hear back from them, and maybe it won't be exactly right away, but it does look like chances are good you're going to hear back from them. So try to be good for them. Try to help them.
Well, it might be wise for them to seek, it's possible that at the point they may need to seek some counseling or something. I have the Tower card there, and I also have the Fox. Also, if this is, there's a number of ways I could look at this combination here. Again, the Fox looks like it could be, an employment issue or something to do with a job or livelihood. Or on the other hand, it could be somebody who was taken advantage of by somebody in an institution, maybe, or a corporate entity of some sort. Maybe they felt they were swindled out of some money, or they were owed something they didn't receive for some work they did, things of that nature. That's what I'm getting there.
Well, I think this person, since I don't read Lenormand, I'm just going to go with what the image tells me. I think this person wants to just sort of hide away right now, maybe in their tower, their castle, their tower. And maybe they're feeling they have to really dig in deep into that part of themselves that they don't always bring out all the time. It might be that it's a little bit more devious in a way, or it's a little bit more clever or cunning. That's what the Fox is. And I'm thinking they're thinking they have to outsmart the situation somehow. And that's what the Fox does. But they may need to do that from the home base. They need to feel secure. And so they want to take time off and get into their safe space to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Okay. So it is very good if I think that they show up with their letter or getting back to you, because that shows you did make an impression on them. Well, we are sending our own feelings of care for
Absolutely.
them too, and hope that all that gets better.
Yeah, because the Ten of Swords, I consider it obviously a real heavy card in the tarot. I know people, the Tower can be kind of looked that way. Although, even with the Tower, sometimes We need that learning experience that the tower is bringing, whether we want it or not. Sometimes
You're welcome, Smiling Soul. Thank you.
we have to endure it.
We love you guys. You've been faithful followers, and we really appreciate you showing up, and you make us feel good about what we do too. So thank you, all of you. And now I guess we only have enough
Time
time
for tarot for
to
tomorrow.
do tarot for tomorrow. So this is our one card forecast for our entire audience for tomorrow.
A lot of people get terrified, especially even, the death card scares people who don't understand, what the death card means in the tarot. So, I mean, I get more scared by things in the Lenormand that mean, like the coffin and the cross than I do of the death card in the tarot. But that one sends chills down people for obvious reasons. Me, I just don't like it because it means more change is afoot. Now, I'm usually a person who can roll pretty well with change, but there are times when you just wish the universe could cut you a little slack and let you be at peace for a while.
So I have this grin here because I'm remembering something. Another person, an author I like, who mostly works with the regular deck and has a lot of disdain for tarot cards, but has mentioned the idea about how people would see a certain card, and in her case, it was the Ace of Swords. Like Ace of Swords, everybody says, "Oh my God, it's death." But the Ace of Swords, in their opinion, was really like opera. It's like the opera, and I'm trying to think, oh yeah, there's some opera where a card falls out and it's the Ace of Spades, and then in scene 2, that person gets snuffed. So, okay, let's do our card reading so we can close up here. I see that people got to get off.
Well, and also, just a reminder again, 7 to 9 p.m. Sunday, join us. If you have anything to toast with, we will be toasting.
Yeah, we'll have a toast in our first few minutes, and then we'll move on to some other things.
Of course, we're not going to spend the whole show talking about us, but...
We're not?
We will be spending...
But I have a lot to talk about.
We will be spending some time reminiscing on that first date, explaining a little bit of how we met, and we'll save some of the rest of the talk for our wedding anniversary in November.
The Five of Swords doesn't get to me that much. It sort of, to me, is maybe... it can be in relationship to other cards or the position bad. But the moon is one that's sort of... Its mysteriosity, or whatever you want to call that, is sort of, can be troubling at times. I mean, I sort of feel serenity about it, but I also feel too that it's really almost always talking about secrets and
the way I
deceptions.
the way I think of the moon is when it's upright, it's really talking about things that that are hidden, and when it's reversed, there's things are going to be hitting the fan. The information is going to come out. And that's the way I look at it anyway. I don't know, everybody has a different way of interpreting the moon. But I'll tell you, some of my hardest cards to deal with in the tarot is one we got today. The Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. For some reason, I've always had difficulties with those cards.
You will hear the whole story, Ellis. You will hear more than you
No,
probably
we
wanted to
couldn't
hear.
possibly tell you the whole story. It just would go on and on. And we
Yes,
don't want
yes,
to
it
do
is.
that.
Okay, tarot for tomorrow. This is the card we are pulling for tomorrow. So this card tells the audience something that maybe can happen or that they should take into themselves.
I'm hoping for a good one.
Ooh, it's
well,
a good one.
It is okay. It's better that it's reversed.
This card is really good when it's reversed. It's the Ten of Wands. Really, do you really want to be struggling with these heavy things? No, you want to release them. The Ten of Wands really is about releasing burdens, releasing obligations. To some people, there's the idea or the essence that maybe this card is also talking about unlawful imprisonment or coercion to be captive, in a way, like not necessarily like you're in the prison system, but it's what it feels like. It feels like you're conscripted to do this work, and so what this is saying is these burdens are being released from you, that you will find a way to either get them shared with other people, or that maybe the reason for these burdens being there will actually vanish.
Yes, I almost don't have much to add to that. To me, it's like a lightening of your workload in some area. You can finally breathe a sigh of relief. And my goodness, we've been doing nothing but reversed cards lately, but at least this reversal is a more positive one.
I need one of those gavels or hammers, and so that the next time the card comes up, I could just pound it. No more reversals.
Well, I
No
was
more.
teasing him that it seems like a lot of cards, and so we really should pay more attention to this because a lot of similar cards are coming up in the readings. And like I was noticing a pattern with some of the cards last week that was talking about our abilities to control our behavior ourselves, what we're doing, that we might be doing things that could be harmful, we're not taking care of ourselves properly. This is showing signs of progress here finally. And I
Yes.
think that now we realize, I have to do something about this. I have to make myself feel better. If I need to release things in my life that are causing me stress, I need to do that.
That sounds really good to me. And just to get back to your last comment there, Smiling Soul, the actual first date was on the day of October 5th, which will be
Saturday.
Saturday. That is actually because nothing happens in my life that doesn't have some sort of synergy. That's actually my father's birthday, or was my father's
And of
birthday.
course, maybe I'm wrong. Was it a Friday we went out or a Saturday? I think it was a Saturday.
I don't remember that, but
I
because
think
it
it
was
was.
the that event we went to, that could have been Saturday.
Hmm.
Hmm.
We don't want to give too much away, but I think we're mirroring it in that this year it is appearing on a Saturday when we're happening to toast and share it with people. So I think that's kind of awesome.
Yes, I just don't remember that, but it sort of makes sense because if it wasn't, then we no doubt would have been working
I'm
the
going to
next
have to
day.
look that up. I may be wrong because now that and it wouldn't surprise me. It's been how many years? 43. Now I'm going to backtrack on this. I believe the 5th was on a Friday. And you know why? Because I remember the Saturday I was going to be celebrating my best friend's birthday. It was my
Oh,
friend's birthday Saturday. So
our
that's why, no, my friend,
I was thinking of Rochelle,
Sandra.
Sandra. Whoops.
Wrong grade. That was
Yeah,
somebody you
they were
knew.
sisters.
Ironically enough,
No, don't tell them. We should tell them all of that on Sunday. There's so many weird coincidences
in
that we
our
had no
lives,
idea
I
about
know.
until we got to know each other.
Synchronicities, I call them, and maybe at some point during this month of October, we'll spend a little bit more time talking about synchronicities and synchronous events and the magic of them. It's just pretty awesome when things
Smiling
happen.
soul, what worked for us would not necessarily work for other people, but we are here to give as much advice as we can.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know some of the things. We've gone through the school of hard knocks, both in our relationship and in life sometimes. So I don't know if I want to, tell people they have to do it. But on the other hand, I do know that one thing we can both say is that oftentimes adversity brings you closer together.
You know what I'm going to do with this special toast and talk about our first date? I'm actually going to excerpt that into a smaller video, maybe
Oh
10
no.
minutes or whatever,
Uh
and
huh.
then I will put that on our YouTube. And so you won't have to wait through the whole 2 hours of that.
Yeah.
You can just find it. Maybe I'll gussy it up with a little bit of
Oh,
music or some
excuse
special
me.
titles.
I've had a
Goosey.
busy day today. I yawned.
So we'll be available to see as a shorter video, just that portion of it. And maybe we'll spread it around even more. Who knows?
Hey, if anybody's interested in us, they'll know where to find the information.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks a lot.
All of this is because of our son
Yeah, it's
and
all
his
his
wife.
fault. Well, his wife, but I think his son, my son more, because he has had to deal with all our premonitions and our fortune telling for years. Some of it's kind of freaked him out at times because that's just the nature of it, I guess. You know, when you don't do it and you see these things come out, you just kind of,
Well,
but he's learned to roll with it over time.
your family was more involved in daily psychic things. They believed in the dreams and they did the card readings
They
and
did a
stuff.
lot of dream
My family
interpretation.
was more agnostic than that. There was interest in those things, but they didn't necessarily know how to do them. They just were very open minded about them. And I did have these two
Mm.
mystical great uncles who kind of gave me a lot of clues about things going on there. So some of this we might cover in future installments, but pretty much we are kind of near the end of our show here. So once again, we wanted to say thank you for everybody coming, and we hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be taking